Hey everybody, it is Ken with KG's Books. I just bought, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 boxes of antique books. I'm going to show them off to you quick. Some pretty cool stuff. This just came into the bookstore today, so this box looks like it has some old religious books, a few cute miniature books, Kirk White poems. Let's see if there's a date on this one. The works of Henry Kirk White, 1848, great condition, little miniature there. That one's a little on the rough side with the spine. The Passing Over Jordan, little miniature religious book. The Pocket Harp. There's lots of old hymn books dating back to like the 1840s, 1850s. Hymns of the Advent Harp, Pocket Edition, 1850. Great leather binding on that one. Thought there was, ooh, this one. This one's great. Look at that. The Attractions of Heaven, copyright 1846 on this one. Great little book. Lots of old religious stuff, historical tales for young Protestants, plain words to a young communicant, the discipline. Sorry, the discipline. The doctrines and disciplines of the Methodist Episcopal Church, 1904. There's a few antique historical books as well. Another Methodist book, The Child's Dream of a Star. A couple very old hymnals, the Sabbath Home Praise Book, Bradley's Fresh Laurels for the Sabbath School. Again, these are like 1850s, 1860s. Tons of these old hymn books dating back to the mid 1800s up to maybe the 1890s, early 1900s. There's a few I'm gonna dig out some of the really exciting things for you quick. There's a few pretty major gems in this collection. Here's some really old religious books. I'll show you those next, but I want to get to the Lincoln box. These aren't too exciting. The Perfect Tribute and the Council Assigned. This book isn't exciting except for the fact it is signed Lincoln at Gettysburg by Clark E. Carr. Very nice condition on this one. And there it is, Clark E. Carr, the author, signed edition. Otherwise it'd be like a $10 or $15 book. This next one though, this is really cool. In the original box, it is Abraham Lincoln Biography in woodcuts. Very, very clean condition. Very light paper used on this one. Abraham Lincoln Biography in woodcuts by Charles Terzak. Great 1930s Art Deco woodcuts. Absolutely gorgeous book. I think it's a limited edition. Copyright 1933. Take you in the back quick. Very delicate paper used for this book. There we go. And it is a limited edition of, how many copies were printed? 1,500 copies. This is number 1,600 and it is signed right there. Absolutely impeccable condition. I saw, you know, the copies listed on eBay right now are kind of in like the $600 plus range. But the only two copies that sold on eBay in the last 3 years, one was $250 and one was $65. So not quite as exciting as you'd think it's still a great book, but not quite as crazy as the ones listed make you believe. There's some really early American printed stuff. Specimen of Divine Truths for the Instruction of Youths by Reverend A. Hellenbroek, published in New York in 1817. 200 years old on that one. Really cool stuff. I never get to buy stuff that's this early locally usually. Usually people bring in their stuff from the 1940s and 1950s. How cool is this? Barbarities of the Enemy exported in a report on the committee of the House of Representatives appointed to inquire into the spirit and manner in which the war has been waged by the enemy and the documents accompanying 1814. Holy buckets, I didn't even notice this one. So this is a War of 1812 book, I assume. Wow. Second, detention of the American prisoners as British subjects on the plea of nativity in the dominions of Britain or of naturalization. 3, the detention of mariners as prisoners of war, where in England when the war was declared. Wow, I thought this was an old religious book, but wow, this has got to be pretty historical. What a title. Wow, we're going to have to set that one aside to do a little research quick. I think most of the rest of these are religious books. There's a few gems. Some of it's very average stuff, but there's a lot of really cool gems. The Trial of the Witnesses of the Resurrection of Jesus Christ, published in Elizabethtown, New Jersey, 1808. Very cool. 110 odd years old on that one. Transmission of Life by Dr. Navy is a cool reproduction book. Let's see, published in 1886. There's lots of, a few leather hymnals. Most of them were kind of more like, where's the box? Let's see. Look at that, there's a huge box of these, this sort of hymnal, kind of oblong ones, dating back to the 1850s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Like there's a whole box with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16, 17, 18 of them in there. But then there's a few great leather hymnals like this one. Watts and Selected Hymns. Great condition on that one. The original owner, A. and H. Pitney. Psalms, Hymn, and Spiritual Songs of Reverend Isaac Watts, 1859. Great condition. If that one was falling apart, it'd be worth like 10 or 15 bucks, but as is, maybe $50 plus. Here's another hymn or psalm and hymn book. Great condition except for the top of the spine, but that will clean up perfectly, I think. Nice tight binding. Let's figure out a date on this one. Psalms and Hymns, published in Philadelphia, 1843. Copyright date on that one. Nice looking book. A New Selection of Several Hundred Evangelical Hymns, 1810 on this one. Wow. Morrisburg. Is that Pennsylvania? Or is it more like New Jersey? Morristown. Morristown? Might be New Jersey. I think Pennsylvania, though. Really cool stuff. I'm always excited when I can buy stuff from the mid and early 1800s. A Sketch of the Denominations of the Christian World by John Evans. First Boston edition, published in 1807. Who do we got? We got Calvin, we got William Penn, we got Wycliffe, we got Luther and Baxter and Winchester and Wesley and another Whitcliffe. Oh no, sorry, Whitfield. Whitfield down there. Boston, 1807. Very cool book right there. Oh, this one. I tried looking this one up and I couldn't find any copies on eBay, and none that sold in the last 3 years. Interesting little book of poetry. If I can find the title page for you, maybe. That would be nice. There you go. Hymns and Other Verses by Frank Mason North, published by the Golden Hill Press in Madison, New Jersey, 1931. And it is signed and inscribed. It's signed by Louise M. North and Frank Mason North to Reverend Dr. and Mr. Victor H. Moore. Very cool 1930s book right there. Oh, speaking of Art Deco, let's see, which one? This one. This is the one I wanted to show. Madman's Drums by Lind Ward. I think this one's from the 1930s. Very Art Deco artwork in this one. Madman's Drums, A Novel in Woodcuts by Lind Ward. First edition, 1930. And it's no words in this one. It's all woodcuts. I want to make sure there's some erotic ones that I don't want to show off to the YouTube, so I got to be a little careful. But very, very Art Deco woodcuts. Gorgeous illustrated book right there. Let's see. Let's show you around a little more. You got a nice memorial life of William McKinley. Some of the stuff isn't overly nice. Vellum binding right here. The Treasury of Sacred Song. I think this one's from the 1890s. Published in 1889, I believe. 1889 on that one. A Run Around the World, or The Adventures of Three Young Americans. I think I just had a copy of this one. I think I sold it on Whatnot not too long ago. Alright, that's good for that box. This is mostly modern hymnals, church hymns and gospel songs. The primary and junior hymnal. Nothing too exciting. Tabernacle hymns. More modern stuff, 1910s to the 50s-ish on that whole box. Alright, I don't think there was too much exciting stuff. You do have a little set of little masterpieces. Benjamin Franklin, Noah Webster, Abe Lincoln, Washington Irving, William Makepeace Thackeray, and Nathaniel Hawthorne. Those will probably go on Whatnot. That one's a little rusty, crusty. More songbooks. Songs of Gladness for the Sabbath School Prayer Meeting. I mean, very early stuff. 1869. Pretty darn clean condition right there. More hymn books. More hymn books. What else we got? Joseph in Egypt, Men of Achievement. You have Explorers and Travelers, Men of Business and Statesmen. The Song of the Syrian Guest. You got the hardcover, and you have the paperback in the original envelope. This is only like a $10 book, but it does have the original envelope, so that's kind of cool little extra. Those will probably go on Whatnot. They're halfway common. That's like a $10 copy. That's like a $10 or $15 copy. More hymn books. Let's see. We got to show you. I forget what's in that bottom box there, so let's get you down there. Show you the last of it. Oh, was there more Abe Lincoln stuff? The Prairie President by Raymond Warren. Oh, and then in this box was a huge, one of those huge War of the Rebellion sets. Or pictorial, yeah, Harper's Pictorial History of the Civil War, but it is in horrible condition. See, the spines are pretty bad. Looks like there's some staining. I didn't even pull those out. They're not too exciting, but I forget what I was gonna say. They got lots of cute, cool, huge full-page prints. That edition's probably from the 1890s, I think. So, gotta figure out what to do with that. Someone will want it, but just not as, you know, a nice set of it would have been $200 to $250 probably. But in trash condition, it's like a $30 or $40 set. All right, let's get that last box up here because I want to see what's in there. I already forgot. All right, hymn books. Let's get those out of the way. And the last box. Oh, this one, Journals and Letters of Henry Martin. Very clean copy. I saw people asking big prices, but this is only like a $30 or $40 book in my opinion. Journals and Letters of Reverend Henry Martin, edited by Reverend S. Wilberforce. First American edition, 1851. Not too exciting. There is a nice old copy of Animal Farm by George Orwell. Nice copy of The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. We have Flush by Virginia Woolf, a biography. Oh, book of the month. Still, I know Virginia Woolf is very collectible. You got The Red Pony by John Steinbeck. And the last one, this one's kind of cool. Lust for Life, a biography of Van Gogh. And look at that. It is signed by the author Irving Stone. To Marion D. Smith with sincere wishes for good luck. 1936. Irving Stone. Lust for Life, a novel of Vincent van Gogh by Irving Stone. Written by Irving Stone. Signed, illustrated with 150 reproductions of Vincent van Gogh's pictures. Heritage Press. And again, it's signed, so that's kind of a little extra cool. Signed by the author. I wish it was signed by Van Gogh. That would be nice. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Feel free to reach out if you want to buy any of this stuff. I can get you some prices.